Good morning, everyone. Tony Saraceno here. It's the Tony Saraceno Baseball Show. We may have to start expanding to other sports. I don't know if I'm going to have enough meat on the bone to keep doing the Mets every day. Today's Monday, June 22nd. After another Met loss last night, now 9 games under 500. I said yesterday that I thought the Phillies would come out for blood today, even though they crushed the Mets on Saturday. They did come out for blood. Put up a 5 spot on the Mets pretty quickly after 2 innings. Here's the thing. What happened last night to Peterson is pretty typical to one way. You got like a menu of 3 or 4 items. You ever go to a restaurant and they've got a menu, but it only has 3 items on it, and you pick from those 3, and that's what you do. That's how the Mets lose every day. 1 is bad pitching, 2 is bad fielding, 3 is no hitting. Today, sometimes you get a little bit of a mix. So the game starts off yesterday with Beatty rushing a play, didn't have to rush, and throwing the ball somewhere out into right field. It was that far off, probably about 15 feet off first base. Then Bichette fails to throw out a guy charging a ball at shortstop. Again, for you, those of you who play Strat-O-Matic, he's a 4 at Strat with a high error. You would never start this guy as your shortstop if you were going to build a winning team. Just analytically, forget about the eye test. Okay, just analytically, his range factor, everything about him is just terrible. And he showed it yesterday. Did make a play. Phillies hit a couple of dink shots, and they get a run. They get 2 runs before you know it. And they really hit a ball hard off Peterson. Next inning, Carl Schwarber does what he does and launch some ball into the stratosphere. I don't know if it's come down yet. Mets down 5. Harper goes yard, down 6. And, before you know it, that's game's over. Game's over. Harper, boy, I tell you, the Mets were just what Harper needed. He was 4 for 5 on Saturday. Excuse me, I got this going off here. I hate when this happens. It's hilarious. You want to talk about him being the perfect medicine for the Mets being the perfect medicine for Harper. 4 for 5 on Saturday, 3 for 4 last night. Shot his average up about 20 points in 2 days. Cycle, home run again. Just looking really good. Zach Wheeler, former Met, goes to 7-1. ERA's 2.11. The Mets started, just so you know, Peterson's ERA was 6.59. And I said this yesterday very animatedly, that just what makes anybody think that the Mets can possibly make a run here? This summer is, let me be the first to tell you, and for all 24 of my subscribers, and for all 20 people who are going to watch this video, I'm telling you straight out, it's over. It's over. Forget it. They just don't have enough talent. And it's nothing, if these guys all played as good as they could play, they still wouldn't win. That's when you know. Okay? The fact that they're playing bad and they're losing is, if they played as good as they could play, they'd be a 500 team if they were lucky. Okay? It's the same guys every night, whether it's Beatty who can't hit. I gave you the rundown on Bichette. If Bichette doesn't get hits, singles and doubles, he's a negative player. And they got 3 years invested in this guy at big money. Really big money. So, it's what do they got, a Zach Wheeler? The Mets have a Zach Wheeler. They got a Sanchez on that team. I didn't even mention Zach Wheeler yesterday when I was going through the better players. And it's just, they don't have, I'll say it for the 3rd time, they don't have enough talent. They just don't have enough talent on this team. And that's it in a nutshell. And then up and down. This is what David Stearns put together. This is why you pay $50 for parking and $23 for a hot dog, for this type of ineptitude. Hey, you got the Knicks. At least I'm so happy for the city of New York, because you got to win. You got a championship with the Knicks, and it's been a long time coming, because you're certainly not getting one with the Mets this year, and you're probably not getting one with them next year. I just don't see this being fixed that quickly. And in the game last night, Soto down 5 runs in that game. Were they down 5 or 4? They were down 5 at the time. Gets thrown out trying to stretch a single into a double by 10 feet. What are you doing? You know, are you trying to wake the ball club up? Does the club need to be woken up? Or like I said, they just don't have enough talent. But do they need to be woken up? Is that why you're trying to go from first to second, down 5 runs, and you have no chance? You were out. That guy was waiting for you to get there. He could have taken a bus over to Citi Field and then back to Citizens Bank and still takes you. That's how bad a base running play that was. You know, and Soto's a legit player. Listen, he's a great player. He's all the Mets got for the most part. Until the kids are ready. I mean, Carson Bench hit another home run last night, which I like to see. Think he can be a player. I think he can build around him and Ewing. They're not big-time power hitters, but if they're 280 hitters and run like the wind, I would have no problem putting them at the top of the lineup. And getting rid of these retreads, I'm starting to think like Bichette. I have a buddy who has Toronto Blue Jay season tickets, and he told me straight out, I'm happy that we dumped him. And this was after he hits a 3-run home run in Game 7 of the World Series. He turns to me, I'm happy he's gone. He's just not, you need a lot around him for him to be effective. And you see that with the Mets every day. He's a complimentary player, Bichette. He is not a out front player like a Soto, like a Harper, like a Schwarber, just to name some guys, like an Acuna. He's just not in that league, in that level. And he's being paid quite a bit of money to be like that. Again, I just don't know what David Stearns is doing. I don't want to blame Carlos Mendoza every day, so I've been kind of laying off of him a little bit, but he's going to take the fall. If they run this out with him the rest of the year, he's not coming back. I felt if they wanted to try to save the season and try something different, somebody's going to just shake things up. Maybe things will fall into place. You never know. Mattingly came in with the Phillies, and they've been on fire. But Mattingly's got a lot more talent, and he's got 2 pitches that the Mets don't have anywhere near them in the organization. So you can win when you got guys like Wheeler and Sanchez and go out every night and, put up 6-7 innings, give up 1 run, 2 runs, and turn it over to the best people in your bullpen. You can go on a winning streak, especially if you get with the hitting they have. So, they didn't get rid of Mendoza. That's fine. I don't see the point. Do you run out the season with him? You're not saving it. I don't know. Anybody they bring in now is an interim manager. I have no problem with them bringing in Joey Cora. I'm not a Cora fan per se. He's a Red Sox. He's a cheater. Okay. He's part of that whole. I believe the Red Sox had a culture kind of like the Astros. I'm not going to get into it, but I believe as far as stealing signs and working certain things, certain ways with scouting, that I'm not going to get into it. Some of it's conspiracy theory. It's just what I believe. I'm not a fan of Cora, but he's a winner. He's a winner and he's a good manager. Can he make a difference if he put the same lineup out there that Mendoza had to deal with last night? I don't know. I don't think so, but stranger things have happened. So today the Mets start with the Cubs. I believe the Cubs are at Citi Field. They are. The Mets got Senga starting tonight. Guys, just going to lay this out here for you. I throw this out there from a betting standpoint every once in a while. And I don't gamble. All right. I may handicap some games from time to time. And anything can happen. And please don't ever bet with what you don't have. But if I was a betting man tonight, I bet on the Cubs. Okay, I bet on the Cubs. And you can make some money on the Cubs tonight because I don't see Senga getting out of the 4th inning. Now, I hope I come on tomorrow and apologize to, Kodai Senga. I hope I apologize. I'd love to be wrong here, but this is what the Mets are throwing out here now. This guy is so hurt. This guy's lost so much in the last 2 years. He's a shell of himself, and they're going to throw him out there now. And maybe the Mets, maybe they're like, what? Let's just throw him out there. The season's over. Let's see what we got. 9 games under 500. You get into July, 9 games under 500, and the window just closes. You got to make the decisions. What are you going to buy or sell? And they're certainly not going to buy. And they don't have a lot to sell. So this is just going to be a mess. What will get Mendoza fired before the end of the season is if you start to see a lack of effort. And you may. I can't, Simeon might slow up a bit. Soto will not always run out to first base. I get it. It's a long season. Legs get tired. Routine ground balls to second base. You go 75%. I've never been one to be like, you got to hustle. But there are certain times the effort has to be full out. And you may see some of the Met guys not giving that effort at a certain point. They're a young team in some ways. You won't see that. Ewing and Benj will always go 100%, but I could see some veterans starting to kick this back a little bit. I could see Vientos, absolutely. I see him getting frustrated, and then I see the Mets not playing him as much, so I could see him turning that down. And then again, then all of a sudden you got a clubhouse problem. So again, Lindor is going to be coming back soon, we think. The Mets. You know how the Mets are with injuries. Jose Reyes was day to day for 5 months, so I'll never forget that. I don't trust the Mets when it comes to injuries, but what does it matter? He's going to come back and they're going to win. Yankees have lost Trent Grisham and Aaron Judge. They lost Max Fried. They lost Garrett Cole for 2 months to start to see before he got back, a month and a half before he got back, okay? They had Rondon down. Yankees are 16 games over 500. All right? I'm not trying to compare the Yankees and the Mets. I just, off the top of my head, when I looked at the standings this morning. Every team gets injuries is my point. And, the Mets can chalk this up to injuries this year. The Mets chalk this up to injuries this year and come back with the same garbage, crap team next year that they have this year. It's going to be the same thing. They're not winning with this team. They don't have enough talent. Again, 4th time. They don't have enough talent 5 times. All right. Chicago's at Citi Field tonight. Let's see how it goes. I'm Tony Saraceno. If you like what I say, hit the subscribe button. Love to hear from you. If you have any comments, any trivia. And hang in there. I don't mean to be negative Nelly all the time with this, but they are just not in the same league as some of these teams, and there's just no getting around that. All right, enjoy the day, everyone. Take care.